Hello there. Hope you can hear me and see me okay. Hi, this is Lena with Especially Made for Me. We're gonna be making our first project for Halloween. I normally don't do a lot of gaudy, scary things for Halloween. It's not normally my thing. But I was asked to make something Halloweeny. So I'm gonna make something for Halloween that it's still kind of gets a little bit cute. It's got a little bit of everything for Halloween. So we have some ribbons with spiders, we have ribbons with bats, and we have some pumpkin, like little scary pumpkins on here, just different colors, and just some chevron type ribbon, all wired. Just wanted to mix and match the colors because it's a Halloween thing. Doesn't have to be per se matchy because it's Halloween, right? And then I have this mesh tubing to match some of the colors we'll be using today. And all of these I've actually purchased at the Dollar Tree. So very inexpensive to get these items, and we may or may not use all of it, but wanted to show you everything I pulled out that I was able to get, just to see what we can come up with. So these are some glow-in-the-dark spiders, also from the dollar store. They had the green, like a lime green, to kind of match our mesh tubing, and of course some black, and we'll see what kind of shape they're in. And then I got a big one that we might use. Don't know yet. We'll see. And then we have these little witch hat picks that we can cut the picks out and just use the hat. So we could also do that as well. So I have a couple of those bags also purchased at the dollar store. So thought that might be just something good to start with. So here we go. So what we have for today for the wreath we're going to be making is one that I did a tutorial on how to make your own using pipe cleaners, which is what we have here. So we're going to be using what we made together on another video that I did live, just so we can go ahead and put it to action, put it to work. So we're going to be using this wreath frame, and this is also from the dollar store, the frame itself, and then of course we can get the pipe cleaners and all of that from a lot of arts and crafts stores, but they do also have some at the Dollar Tree. Here to the side, we do have the mesh that we're going to be using. I just finished cutting the orange one, so we're going to be using two 21-inch Deco mesh. We're going to use the black one and the orange. They're both 21-inch. And then we have the 10-inch. We have purple and a lime green color. So what we're going to do is actually make our base first using our black, and then we're going to add in our orange and then go from there to add all of these other colors to make it look as mix match spooky as possible. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing is to build our base. I'm going to go ahead and move this mouse out of the way. Now normally I do minimize one of the screens, and I kind of put myself to the corner and actually zoom in. So if you are watching me while we're live, if you prefer for me to do that, let me know. But from what I can tell, you can see the actual frame pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and double check with the other camera just to make sure that you can see everything. From what I can tell, you can see it pretty well. So we're going to go ahead and go with that. Okay. So to do our base today, since we're going to be adding on other mesh to it, we're going to do the poof method. And if you haven't seen that method yet, I do have the tutorial for that. Sorry, I'm getting some little error messages here. So I want to make sure that everything is as copacetic as possible while you're watching. Okay. So we're going to do our poof method first. And I do have a tutorial on that on the channel. So feel free to search for that. There's quite a few of them with the poof method, but if you haven't seen it, I'm going to be working it here today. It just may not go as slow since we already have a tutorial out there on it. So we're going to gather our mesh at the corner, or the edges rather, and we're going to go ahead and just start. I like starting in the middle, in between two of the pipe cleaners, or Chanel stems if you prefer to call them that. And I usually tie them off. Get my little So we can go ahead and tie these off, and you can use zip ties, you can use another pipe cleaner. It's entirely up to you. I just feel it's a little bit more secure to use the zip tie. And all I'm doing is just securing it on there to make sure it doesn't move on us. That's all it is. But if you feel safe enough to do that with just a pipe cleaner, you're welcome to do that. There's no set rules. It's all on what's more comfortable for you. I think I'm going to use the smaller. Let's see. Okay. So like I was saying, there's no actual set rules. This is one of the wonderful things of making wreaths and using Deco mesh. This Deco mesh is, I like to say, it's very forgiving. So it may look kind of crazy while you're starting, or like it may not, you know, it may like, oh no, this is really messed up, or it's not looking good. But by the time you're done, it does. It's just one of those things with Deco mesh. Just making sure I capture here, going all the way around. Before I grab 2 of the rims, and I only want to use 1. So here we go. That's why I ended up having to cut it. Okay, and once we have it nice and snug, we're going to go ahead and cut the excess. And these cutters, I have a affiliate link underneath the video. If you don't have any wire cutters and you're wondering which ones you should get, I do definitely recommend those. They're very easy to manage and they cut very well with all the wires, and as you can see, even with the zip tie. Okay, so here we go. To make a poof, normally we have everything spaced about 4 inches apart, so we always try to say to do the poof about the same length, if not a little bit longer, just to make it cover, because it's basically a coverage. So we're going to do a poof. You can measure if you don't have a cutting board like I do. Again, there's an affiliate link for that, but you could also use a ruler, a tape measure, anything you have, or you could just eyeball it and do your 4 inches. We're going to pull on our mesh, and we're going to go to that first set of zip ties, and where we have our hands is where we're going to put in between the stems, and we're just going to make sure we go in opposite direction with them so we can go nice and tight. Just pull apart and give it a twist, and then we're going to go ahead and open our poof while we're there. Or you can, once we go all the way around, you could go ahead and do the poofs, open them up at that point. It's entirely up to you. Again, no rules. It's based on your preference and your comfort level. Okay, so we're just gathering, going out about 4 inches and going to the next one. And we're going to do the same thing all the way around. And don't forget, while you're here, to do a thumbs up on the video. Click on that bell, ring the bell. That'll let you know of any alerts to notify you when we go live or upload any new videos as well. You'll be able to find them. Even better if you click on subscribe if you haven't already done so. That way you can just go down that list instead of having to try to find the channel, then find which videos. It just makes it a lot easier. I'm being very tempted to turn on the fan, but last time I did that, it was kind of hard for you to hear me, so I'm trying to not turn that fan on that's above me. Got a ceiling fan. Gets pretty hot in here when I close that door, but I want to make sure you'll be able to hear me. Okay, just making sure it's nice and tight. And opening up the poof, as we like to call it. And what I'm using, in case you haven't noticed, I'm using the what I call remnants from different projects. I don't throw them away if there's anything left when I'm done with a project, unless it's very little, because normally I can add it on to something else depending on what we're working on. I keep a little, I guess it's like a little drawer case, and I just keep them in there. And just look through the drawers when I'm working on a new project and see what I might have. And if you're just joining us, we're making a Halloween wreath today using a combination of Deco mesh. We're using 21-inch and 10-inch, using poly mesh, and we're also using metallic mesh, which is the two 10-inch ones are metallic, and you can tell that difference just because of the little bling that they have. It's like a little glitter because they have metallic mixed in there, just to give it that little bit of a shine. Okay, we're at the end of our outer rim. Now we're going to go to our inner, and I'll show you how we go from the outer to the inner. We're still gathering the same way, nothing different there. From here we're going to work our way to that inner side. So instead of continuing straight to the side, we're going to come over. So you may need a little bit more mesh depending on how big your poofs are. And we're going to work our way on over to that first set that's closest of the chenille stems or pipe cleaners, depending on what you call them. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to make sure it's nice and tight and give it a twist and open up our poof. And then from there we're going to continue on that inner rim doing the same thing. Okay, we're going to gather, make sure we go out about 4 inches and find our next set of stems. A little bit smaller. Now we have a lot more mesh to work with. And the only reason I have different color mesh is just to add that pop of color, to kind of have that mixture. But if you get a Deco mesh with a 21-inch or 10-inch, they do have some with a mixed pattern where it has multiple colors. So that could also be used as well, and then you don't have to use as many different rolls of mesh. I'm using this many because again I'm using remnants that I want to go ahead and use up, and I thought it would be great, since it's the colors that you would need for Halloween, to use them up instead of them just sitting there in that drawer. But normally you would coordinate with what you have and use, of course, what you would need. All based on your preference and how you would like things to look. Again, no rules. And thank you for joining me here. If you haven't already done so, please do give thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell. Now the supplies that I'm using, I did list the general supplies so that you would know about the rolls of mesh, the 21-inch and the 10-inch and the ribbons. That is all under the video, under the description of the video, to give you an idea. But of course you would choose your own colors. Doesn't have to be specific. If you do, you can definitely match them by the colors. Like I mentioned, I have the black, the orange, the lime, and the purple. Which matches the stems. Now normally I have everything cut when I'm not doing a tutorial for beginners. That way we could go straight to it. But I thought, since this is our first one for a Halloween, something I haven't done, I figured I can kind of go through the steps but not necessarily too slow, since we've done other tutorials with the different methods that we're using today, like the poof, and we're using the ruffle and the curl poof and curl. So all of those, there's videos, tutorials already on my channel for. So in case of anything, you could always, of course, replay this video, or you can go to those beginner videos, tutorials, and watch it there. That's another good reason for subscribing, because it makes it easier for you to be able to find those videos in case you need to come back to them. Even the one for today. In case you don't have the supplies with you already, you could always get the supplies later and then come back to the video. Now also be on the lookout for the kits, because I do put kits out on my Etsy shop, which there's a link for also under the video. I do put those kits out for different seasons and different holidays, and you could always just purchase the kit and you know you'll have everything you need and everything that matches for the project without having to go do any shopping, especially nowadays with everything that's going on out there. So now that we're going all the way around, we're going to just go ahead and cut and give it just a few inches, so you'll be able to work it to the back of the wreath, because you don't want that part to show. So once you're done with that, we're going to tuck it in. And you just tuck it towards the back in between the poofs. Just like so. So it'll be hanging in the back. And you could also use that zip tie on the back to make sure that doesn't move or come out. So this is our base. Just pretty basic. Again, just the base. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and add on. So I already have these cut, so I'm going to go ahead and start with that first. And for these, we're going to go ahead and do that curl poof method. And I'll show you what that is. These are the 21-inch, same length as the black one. And what I did is cut it to 14 inches. And all we're doing, let me go ahead and move this a little bit further out of the way. All we're doing is curling it in the same direction that it wants to curl on its own. We're just going to make a tighter curl. Doesn't have to be too tight, because we do want the curl to be noticeable. Okay, and then just where we're holding it, about 4 to 5 inches in on each side, we're going to hold it and kind of crunch it. And then there's going to be our poof. We're going to open that up, but then we're still going to have the curls showing on the wreath. And I'll show you what that looks like. And what we'll do is actually skip the stems. We're going to skip a stem. So we're going to put our curl towards the outside. We're going to put this in between. Let's see if I can turn it over so you can see it a little bit better. So there's our curl just popping out. And we're going to tighten that there, just like we did with the poof. So we're going to go in opposite direction with the stem, pull tight and twist. And then we're going to skip our next, I think I just grabbed two separate ones. Hold on. Let me do that again. There we go. I grabbed the stem from the other side. So I'm going to do that over here. Okay. Here's our curl. Okay, so we're going to go now and skip the next one and come on over to the one after. So now we have this hanging out outside, but we're still gonna have that other curl on this side. Okay, same thing, we're gonna pull, twist, and now this becomes our poof. Now you can open it as wide as you like or as little, depending on how big you want that to be. It's just basically to add more body and more color. Okay. Go to our next one. Oops. Now they all want to fall. Okay, so same thing. This one is pretty much rolled already, so I'm just gonna leave it. Grab again about 4 inches. We're going to skip. Bring it over so you can see. We're gonna put our curl facing out. And again, do a skip. Skipping one and tying our curl on the next one. So it almost looks, I guess, if you don't poof it out, it could look like it's like a warm, you know, it's Halloween. But we could open up the poof just for more depth. Again, entirely up to you, depending on the look you're looking for. Get some fraying going on, we could cut that off. No biggie. Let me get the one that fell. And we may or may not use all the oranges. Orange color mesh, that is fine. Maybe we can make a second one. We can have 2 in case someone has 2 doors. Those double doors. Okay, let's see. I think I'm going to start working towards the inner here so we can still continue skipping. Okay, so we're going to put our curl facing out. Okay, and if you see, excuse me, see here, if we skip, which we're supposed to, we already have one here, so that's when you know you've made it all the way around. We're gonna do our work around to go to the inner side. So in this case, we don't necessarily have to skip because we're already going over the poof. So we're just gonna find our first chenille stem for the inside and tie in our curl. These are kind of getting to me, so I'm not going to wait till the end. I'm just going to go ahead and snip them off. Alright, so we're going to skip here and go on to our next one. So now basically it's going to be where the poof is at, we're going to have a curl, because now we're going on the inner side. And it's just spreading some of those colors around. Make sure I skip. And that I used the right stems. Okay, we're going to skip there again and go to the next one. trying to decide which way to go, because we could go in or we can go to the outer. Right now we don't have anything on the other side, but we do have more things to add on. So I think just gonna keep on going. Same thing, I'm just gonna make it a little bit tighter. And where we're gonna go. Okay, so we're gonna skip there. Here's our next curl. Okay, we're gonna skip. And this one I'm going to turn it because there's already a curl on that side. Again, there's no rules, so no worries. This is what we have so far. Looks kind of crazy, but again, it is a Halloween wreath. May seem a little bit crazy, but it'll come together, I promise. Okay, so now that we have our orange and our black, we're going to move on to our purple and our green. So I am going to just hook this here. Let's see, maybe not. Don't want it to, there we go, be in the way. And I'm going to actually, just for working a little bit faster, I am going to move one of these to the bottom, so I can cut them at the same time, because now we're going to be doing ruffles. So this is what I mean by that. Just going to put them together and run them through so they'll be as even as possible. We're going to go ahead and cut so we can start with an even edge. And not to worry, if you don't have one of these mesh rollers, you can use the same things that you will use for your paper towel. You can use that. Before I started making so many of these, I actually used to put them in a bag or in a box and let them roll inside there so they wouldn't get dirty. So there's many different ways you can do to still be able to get things rolling a little bit faster. So these are 10-inch. I'm gonna use some of these up so I'll be able to go all the way to the end here. And I'm gonna go with maybe 20, so it'll be double. I tempted to do 30. I might do 30, I don't know. Decisions. We're gonna stick with 20. Okay, so I'm gonna go to 20. That is just the length that I'm cutting at. And again, if you don't have one of these boards, you could purchase one. You could use the affiliate link I have on the bottom of the video. But you could also use measuring tape or ruler in the meantime. Trying to count while I talk with you. Up to 3. I think we'll need 9, so we'll need 5 more. And I'm saying that because the rule of thumb with the wreath forms is that you have 10 stems on the outer rim and 8 on the inner. Sometimes you have 7. Depends on where they're made, if it's the pre-made ones. But that kind of helps with, if you haven't counted them prior to, you could always go with that average. Okay, so 3 more. Again, just cutting at 20 inches. And the closer you get to the end, the more they want to curl. That is normal. So no worries there. Alrighty, looks like we'll have some left still. Now for the rotary cutter, if you don't have one and would like to purchase one, again, there's affiliate links for that. If you would like to. But you could also use scissors to cut those. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and start doing our ruffles. And you could start with either color, you can alternate, entirely up to you. Okay? Now you can use something to keep, like your phone, to keep it steady while you're trying to do the ruffle. And to do the ruffle, all it is, in case you haven't seen it on any of the other videos, you just put in your hands, using your hands to make your curls, your ruffle. You're gonna go to the edge and you're gonna use your thumbs. Your thumb should be in the middle, and you're just basically going to gather. Okay, so that is your ruffle. So it looks almost like a little, I don't know, like a butterfly, maybe some wings. Could look like a flower depending on how you spread it on the wreath form. So on the sections that we didn't have anything on is where I'm gonna go ahead and start putting some of these other colors. So again, no rules. You can start wherever you like. And then just pull. I'm gonna turn this over so you can see what I'm doing here. If I can do it upside down. Feels like I'm upside down. So all I'm doing is just gathering our edges to kind of make it come all the way around on both the top and the bottom. So it basically opens it up. Okay? And we're gonna do that for every section that we didn't have the orange. We're gonna do the green and the purple and continue to alternate all the way around. Okay, using our palm of your hands and the thumb, we're just gonna scrunch it in at the middle just to kind of gather it. Okay, gonna just go right on here. Maybe you'll be able to see a little bit better. I don't know. We shall see. I'm gonna look at the camera there. No, let me bring it back around. So we're gonna find our empty set of stems and we're gonna put it there. And again, we're gonna find the ends on the top and the bottom and make them basically meet, just kind of overlap. So it'll be more rounded. Uh-oh. There we went. Okay, so it should look more like that by the time you make the ends meet. So it almost looks like a flower. And I'll see if I can reach those in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and continue with these. Should have put them on top like the other one. finding our empty set of stems. Pull apart and twist. We're going to find our ends, make sure they overlap, both the top and the bottom. And we'll cut the frayed edges later on. It look like it's spider webs since it's a Halloween one. Okay, again, making sure the ends meet, top and bottom. That'll give it that rounded look. Okay, doing the same thing here. Just making sure it overlaps on the ends. Okay, so now we get to add on the inner. As you get all the way around, you'll be able to see there's no other stems to put them in, and you just work in the inner circle, that inner frame. Okay. This is what it looks like so far. All sorts of colors. Now I'm actually needing green and some of them fell, so I'm going to try to reach under the table here. Try and get it tightened, and then I'll move it so you can see. There we go. Okay. So I just tightened it in place, and I'm just making the ends meet. Make sure they overlap so that it'll have that rounded finished look. Okay. All sorts of colors. I think we got them all. Need a couple more on the inner. Okay, I'm gonna change the view of the camera only because I'm noticing just looking at the view, you really can't see the top of the wreath. So you're not really seeing what I'm doing unless I stop and turn the wreath over. So I'm gonna do that right after I finish this one. So then you'll be able to see from the top. Bear with me for a second here. So you should still be able to see me. Let's see, I don't want to make it too small. Okay, on the corner. But be able hopefully to see the wreath a little bit better. Okay, kind of sweating here. So I've just finished on this one, and it looks a little bit blue almost, but it's actually purple. We have purple, orange, lime green, and then black is the base of it. Just doing ruffles. Finding that one that doesn't have anything on. And again, we're going to find our edges and have them overlap. Both the top and the bottom, so that it'll be more rounded. So it should look like that. And if you have anything right next to it, just kind of make it come up a little bit so it won't be drowning anything. They should help each other kind of get more puffed up. Like on this one, since there's one on the bottom, one on the top, make sure they just kind of push each other up and not cover each other. Make this one a little bit more rounded. Okay, looks like we're all covered. And I think this one, I'm gonna take it off. It's fraying a little too much for my comfort. I'll just do another green. Make sure it looks good. Okay, just gathering in the middle to make our ruffle. And making sure our ends overlap. Okay, there we go. So this is what we have so far. So we have like a little worms coming out with the poofs. We have the curls, we have the ruffles, just a little bit of everything going on. Perfect for Halloween, I guess. But I'm not an expert. Not on the Halloween thing anyways. I'm gonna put these out of the way. So we have these tubing, and I'm not sure, we may or may not, we may just add it to the ribbons. So we're gonna cut some ribbons now. I'm just gonna get these out of the way. Okay. And I'm going to use, just for sake of time, I'm going to pull out the Bodagra. Wasn't thinking I was going to use this, so I had it way over there. just because we still have ribbons and we want to do the tubing. Probably would have made it save a little bit of time too if I would have used it when we did the ruffles and put it all out on there at once. So we're going to do 12" on these. And that just, this actually just measures 12 inches, so that's why I'm using that. You could use a ruler again, your cutting board if you have one, a ruler. Which is basically what this is. It's just pre-cut to 12 inches. I'm only going to cut 5 since we have 4 ribbons. I'm going to show you how I do the dovetail. You just fold it in half, making sure your ends are all together. And we're going to cut diagonally towards those ends. Okay, put it against the apron here so you can see the dovetail. Same thing, just folding and cutting towards the end. So that gives us those dovetails. And make sure that if your ribbon has a design on one end, make sure that they're all facing the same for when you fold them. I normally leave the design towards the outside, just so that way I can see they're all the same, and then just cut towards the corner. I'm going to use more of the black than the orange. I might just use 3 ribbons because the orange is pretty noticeable. And this is the one with the pumpkins and the little scary face. So I have 8 of this one. These scissors are also very good. I love these because they pretty much cut through anything. Even when I have the canvas type ribbons, they cut very well. Doing the same thing here, making sure the design is facing out, and then fold it, and then cutting diagonally towards the corner to get that dovetail. And I think I might go, I'm undecided. I want them all. Might just make a bow, depending on our time here. said I had 8, 5, that's 13. Let's see here. Oops, sorry about that. I actually like the colors on this ribbon. I think I did 5 of the spiders, so I'm going to do 5 of this one. And I mentioned the kits earlier on the Etsy shop. I think I have 1, maybe 2 left, but they're for like red, white, and blue theme. I know Labor Day, maybe September, or November for Veterans Day. There's 2 left of those. I'll be putting up some more kits soon. So I want to do some for Christmas. I know we just did Christmas in July, which was fun. I want to do some for Harvest because that's also coming up. So be on the lookout for those. I do have the link to the Etsy shop on the bottom of the video for the description. So you can check out the shop. Pretty much everything I do here on the tutorials, I normally would put them up on the Etsy shop if it's not already sold. Sometimes the projects that I do here are for orders that someone's given me or requests. So those are usually spoken for. This one isn't as of yet, so this one will probably go up on the Etsy shop in a few days. Some for a ribbon. Let's see. That'll give me 5. Here we go. This one is very thick. It is like a canvas type ribbon, but I like it because with it being a little bit more stiff, it'll hold the shape better too, which is the main reason why I like using wired ribbon, because when you need to shape it, you want to make sure that it's curled or wavy. Pretty much keeps its shape, and if it doesn't, you're able to reshape it again, especially when you do shipments, you know, ship wreaths and such, and things might kind of lose their shape, but then you're able to shape it back up, just like with the mesh. Alrighty, I think we have enough ribbon. If you by chance might be just joining, please do give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to make it easier for you to find videos later. Share with your friends, family. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just basically alternate the ribbons. Just kind of mix and match depending on the colors, and we can, again, no rules. So good thing to do will be to use a dark one and a light one, of course. So I am going to do these 2 on the green, since it's a lighter color, and I'm just folding it to find the middle, and then I'm going to scrunch it in the middle, and I'll show you why. Kind of give it a pinch, and if you run your hands, your fingers to the bottom, it kind of gives it that curl look. Almost looks like a little, like wings, a little bat, you know, just gives it that curl. So we can do that you can see that. So there's a couple of different things you can do here. You could either put them all in the same direction. You can put one up and one down, kind of like a crisscross, so you can mix and match the colors. Or you can do both the same, like the black and then the orange. Again, no rules. No rules, no rules. So I'm going to find all the greens and I'm going to do that just to make it easier. Make sure I try to capture all the greens and make sure I have enough ribbon cut. And then we'll see what else we may need to add. If anything, I think we'll be pretty much done with the ribbon. And I'm just doing the same thing here. Just alternating. Finding the middle. Scrunching and then giving it some shape. Going again to the green. This to me is looking actually not scary at all. Although it does have bats. Kind of cutesy. Okay, one more. I'm trying to also make sure, I don't know if you've noticed, with the bats and then with the pumpkins, kind of making sure that they're faced the same direction. Excuse me. Okay, moving on. Okay, doing the same thing, but I'm gonna look for that purple. Just so that we can spread out the colors. What do you think? Starting to come together, huh? Okay. Looks like we just hit the hour mark. Doing good. One more. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, to hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. Okay, this is what we have so far. Okay. Now we get to add, let's save these for probably doing a bow later. I was thinking of adding some tubing, but it looks pretty good. So we still got the spiders to add on there. I think I'm going to add the big one. Let's see. And I think for now I may just tie it in. No, I'm not putting that on the floor. I do have a trash can down there. Just to see. I don't want to put any glue on it just yet. But I'm thinking I might put it on here. Find it where it would stand out some more. Might just do it there, or even up here where the orange is at. But we'll glue that. That would have to be glued. Thinking I might leave it as is for now. But just want to give you an idea of what it would look like if we add the spiders in. Not too sure about them, to be honest. It's the black ones. They're hiding. Want to make sure I don't make the video too long, so I may stop it here. But here are the little ones. I think I like the big one better, but I might add some of these little ones off video and then add it on. I just want to give you an idea of the different things you could do. You can barely see them because they're small, so I may stick with the big one and just add a couple of the small black ones. I think the black one is better, the big one. And there we go. You can definitely see it no matter where we put it. If we put it up here like it's curling up on the wreath, or we could put it more on top, and then we could add those little ones in different spots. So there's our wreath. We could even add some tubing to this if you want to add more and more and more, but I think it's full enough to where it doesn't need anything else to make it full. So this is it until we add some embellishments and add our little spider wherever we'd like. Please give thumbs up if you like this tutorial. We're gonna go ahead and leave it as is for now. I'll probably glue the spider on after. Still undecided on which spot I want to put it, because I see a couple of different spots to put it at, and I don't want to glue it and then not be able to change my mind. But this is basically it for the wreath. You could add, again, if you want to add the hats, if you get the hats at the Dollar Tree, you could also add the hats with all the different ribbons and everything that it's got already. May not need as much, but again, it's all entirely up to you because it's based on your preference. And then you could decide also where to put the spider or any other embellishment that you get. So thank you for joining me today. This was just making a Halloween wreath with Deco mesh and wired ribbon using some embellishments throughout. And I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I hope to see you again next week on Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time. Until then, keep smiling and stay liquid. Bye-bye. Have a great day.